Can y'all hear me? Okay, all right. So welcome everyone. This is our first event. Um, Let me open the PowerPoint. So we're the Latinx Association. Before we get started, we'd like to say our land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that Washington, D.C. sits on the ancestral lands of the Anacostians, also documented as Noshlitank, who are now part of the Piscataway Indian Nation. We celebrate with gratitude that Native American survivors of forced removal and cultural erasure, we honor their ancestors. In memoriam of Chief Billy Redwig Taye. So for our board members, I'm the president. My name is Diana Tenco Gonzalez. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a senior and I'm a psychology major. Our vice president is Alejandra Lainez. Her pronouns are she and her. She's a sophomore and she's a childhood education major. Kelly, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Kelly Hernandez. My pronouns are she, her. I am a senior studying political science.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason. I am a treasurer. My pronouns are he and him. I am a junior studying mechanical engineering.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sabrina. I'm the social media coordinator. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a junior and I'm an architecture major.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so my name is Raul Rosales. My pronouns are he and him. This is my sophomore year at UDC and I'm major in social work.
Okay, so why did we name the association Latinx? So the Latinx Student Association is meant to be an inclusive club regardless of origin, gender, or sexual orientation. So the Latinx Association is, well, the term Latinx is used as a gender neutral alternative to using Latina, Latino, or even Latin with the @ sign. And then, so it's used by activists. And then it also has increased popularity throughout the years. And okay, so our history, since you created the club.
History of what our vision is. The Latinx Association was founded. You can't hear me? Can everyone hear me?
All right, we can hear you now.
Okay. So Latinx Association was founded in spring of 2018 with many members, about 10 members that were involved in it. The beginning was only 3 who created the first tabling of Latinx, and we were trying to think about why there was not a lot of Latinos clubs in the school. And so I was the founding president. Brenda was the founding secretary. George Martinez was the founding digital. Fatima was the vice president, founding vice president, and Jocelyn was the founding treasurer. And those are the founders. We wanted to empower Latinx youth at the university, and we wanted to promote cultural awareness by educating others about the experience of Latinx communities to show them that Latinos come in all colors, right? And that we have so many culture in different countries. And we wanted to foster the environment where Latinos youth, regardless of their status, so being undocumented myself, can come together and feel welcome and supported. And so we wanted to engage that environment. We plan to facilitate programs, events, and to help support not just undocumented folks, also first-gen students to offer them a better experience at the university. I know that it's not brand new, but UDC is not perfect, and first-gen is hard to actually navigate the system. So we wanted to support them. And so one thing that was created due to the fact that the founders were United We Dream members is we created a partnership with one of the largest immigrant youth-led organizations in the country. And we are a welcoming space for young people, regardless of immigration status. We support, engage, and empower them to make their voices be heard. We held actions. We actually have a lot of, we have actions coming up, and we do things like this where we protest outside to fight for a pathway to citizenship for immigrant youth. And I think many of you, one of the things about United We Dream is that we actually want to grow your leadership. We want to give you opportunities to grow your leadership and give you workshops to learn more. Diana has been part of us. She has also worked with us as a canvasser. So there's opportunities for every single one of them. Actually, Osman too. So there's always opportunities for each one of you to get involved in United We Dream. And if you want to get involved, you can let me know. I'll put in the chat my contact information too, and you can set up a meeting too. And that way we can tell you any events that we have. And it's similar to what Latinx does, but we're most focused in immigration and everything. And so it's really a great environment. You get to meet people from across the country. So you get to network a lot. Many people, if you're in political science, you get to meet politicians. I'm going to say straight up that that's one thing that you get to meet. I met Elizabeth Warren. I met Vice VP Kamala Harris and others who actually are doing things in the movement, right? I'm still trying to meet AOC though. That's my goal. And we'll have 2 actions, one on Tuesday, if you want to come, the 21st at 12 p.m. and one on Thursday at the 23rd. So United We Dream is always there in the ground, and we're gonna fight for pathway to citizenship, especially that we're this close this year. And I'll pass it back to them.
All right, so now we'll jump into strategies to succeed at UDC. So we will be talking about scheduling, your financial literacy, how to manage your time, and how important your GPA is, and also taking time to do some self-care. So class scheduling. So to schedule your classes for the first time can be very overwhelming. There are different types of classes that you need to choose from taking your IGD classes and then going into taking like your major classes. So with that being said, while some of your requirement courses would provide like the best experience because that's like what you really want to major in, your IGD courses are very important because that's like the standard that everyone has to take. So things to ask yourself to be like productive with your classes. Are you a night owl or like early bird, or you need to find time to see like when you would do your classes. So steps to scheduling. So you need to like review your, I would say your degree works That's like a template. It gives you the template of all the classes that you need to take in order to graduate in the 4 years. You should also schedule visits with your advisor, whether it be your academic advisor or a professor within your field. Also research your professors. Sometimes, well, they're very, okay. So they have a lot of contacts. So therefore they can introduce you to like internships so that you can build your resume. Also, some people find it best to schedule your classes early so that you're able to, have the rest of the day for homework and stuff like that. And then, so to balance your schedule in college, you're able to make your schedule whatever you want. And then, but also knowing your limits, knowing how many credits are, the limit for you to take, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself too much. So tips for scheduling. So research your classes and your professors, make necessary changes for the deadlines. I know sometimes professors have a deadline to like the end of the month and they'll assign you the assignment that first week of the month. So try to schedule out the time when you'll get your assignment done. So make time for yourself, also calculate your time. And then if you're also commuting into class, I know some of us are just virtual. Don't forget to plan for class or like work that is due. And then ultimately take classes. For example, if you have to take electives, take some electives that you're interested in, not just to get the credit. And then, so yeah, so to getting started with your scheduling, think about how you're able to spread out your classes. I know the minimum is 120 credits in order to graduate. So that would be, if you, to plan to graduate in the 4 years, that'd be taking 15 credits per semester. Also, like just meeting with your advisor is very, very important. And then, yeah, keep the schedule visible to help focus on your goals. So I'll pass it over to Jason.
Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Jason Alberti. I wanted to run through financial literacy. It's very important. As you know, we're developing, we're all young adults in the Latino community. And it's something that if we're able to understand, we can always, pour out onto others and help them on their journey. Something very important. So what is financial literacy? It's the confluence of financial, credit, and debt management knowledge that is necessary to make financially responsible decisions, AKA how to use your finances in a positive and responsible way. Very important. It's important because understanding how to be financially responsible will help separate you from the crowd and will set you up to be successful in the future. Not many people understand how poor financial decisions can create problems to your financial well-being later down the line. Prime example being student loans. Sometimes people are just like, they don't know the difference between subsidized, unsubsidized. You might take them and then, it comes back to haunt you later down the road. So if you understand, responsible financial acts now, that won't happen. This includes how to manage checkings account, how to use a credit card, and really how to avoid debt. So the main part that I wanted to focus on is credit, because credit is important to say the least. A good credit score is key factor for a lot of things in life. If you want to buy a house, if you want to get a car, a mortgage, or even apply for credit cards, they check your credit score. Even when you apply for a job, the chances that somebody is looking at your credit score to see how responsible you are is high. So your credit history is a record of how good you are at paying your bills on time and paying back. You can see the pictures there. Credit score ranges from 300 to 850. That's the scale that it's on. And there's a lot of factors that contribute to the score, including how much new credit you have. So the longer you have your credit, the bank can increase the amount you can spend. If you spend responsibly, you pay back on time. Hey, now you can use more. The types of credits that you have, how long you've had it for, again, how well you pay on time, and the amounts that you owe. So even if you have a good available a good amount of available credit. Usually you're not, it's not recommended that you spend all of it, or that, you're using that credit. It's usually recommended that if you have, let's say, $1,000 available in credit, you're not passing the $200 mark. And we'll get into that on the next slide, which is building credit. It's important to build your credit score, again, because companies, jobs, even again, when you're buying a phone, trying to finance a phone or a car, they're looking at this thing. So again, as young adults, as being part of the Latino community, I know, sometimes these things are just overlooked. And it's important that we know there are opportunities to build your credit slowly but steadily and have an effective outcome. One of them is a student card. Most banks offer them, and they offer you perks for being a student, for being a good student. You get a good GPA, hey, you get some cash back, you get some rewards. Different places offer different rewards. Avoid applying for too many credit cards at once. That's a big one. I'm guilty as charged. I got my first credit card. Hey, I wanted to apply for an Amazon card. But here's the thing. Every time you apply something, there's a thing called hard inquiry. A hard inquiry lowers your credit score. That means that every single time you're applying, they're looking at your credit score to see how responsible you are, is dropping it by a couple points. So we want to avoid that. Maintaining a solid payment history. This is very important. Again, if you're consistent with your payments, you're building that credit. And this is where it comes into play. Hey, if you have $1,000 available in credit, only spend a certain amount, because you have to pay it back. And if you pay back the full amount on time, on a consistent basis, then your credit score is going to just keep building and building. And the main one, again, that ties in with keeping a solid payment history is to spend responsibly. So there's a rule that I use. It's called the 10% rule. Whenever I'm making a big purchase, if what I want isn't 10% of 100% of what I have in the bank, then I know I can't afford it. Here's an example. If I want a new phone and it costs $1,000, but I don't have $10,000 saved, then I know I can't afford it in the long run. Because hey, sometimes you got to pay tuition, you got to pay outside expenses, things that you can plan for. So that's the rule that I go by, especially when using it on credit, because credit adds interest over time. And so that's the one rule that I use to spend my money responsibly. And how you can get started with empowering yourself financially is to create a budget. That's on the next slide. If you get a certain income and you have certain expenses that have to be paid, set those out first. That's what it means to be responsible with your money, leaving out what commodities, they're like, hey, Netflix, you don't need it. It's nice to have it. But if you have, your water bill, your rent due, put that on top of your budget. Again, being responsible with it. School, right now, education is a big thing. So make sure that, you're saving up and at the same time, always being responsible with what you have available. And yeah, I'll pass it on to my next peer.
All right, my name is Sabrina again, and I'm going to talk to you guys about time management. But a big factor of how to have good time management is overcoming procrastination. Time management is very key in college because this is a time of your life where you have a lot of freedom. Most of us are coming from high school where we had 7 hours at school all day to going to only having maybe 1 or 2 classes a day. So you have to remember that time will go faster than what you think. So if you were giving an assignment Monday and it's due Friday is going to sneak up on you before you realize it if you don't concentrate on keeping in mind that assignment's due on Friday. Some classes in college will assign things weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or you have one project per semester. So you really have to keep track of what your teachers are giving you. It's really important to know what time of day you're most productive, if you're most productive in the morning or in the middle of the day or in the afternoon. And it's also really important to learn what the best way to keep yourself motivated, because if you're not motivated, you're not going to do anything. So keep procrastination is out the window if you're not even motivated. Okay, you can go next slide. Some tips and tricks for time management is one, to make yourself a schedule of when you want to work on homework. Scheduling like each thing, like say one class you'll do homework this day, this class you'll do homework this day, keeping a clear schedule of how you want to accomplish your work. Make a daily calendar of not only of what classes you have, what days you have classes, what to do, but what also you want to put in your personal life, just to kind of give you an idea of what you can fit in for personal use as well during the day. Check your email and Blackboard for assignments daily, because we do have some professors out there that will like slide in a assignment and not tell anybody. And then you go into Blackboard the day it's due and you see an assignment, or maybe you forgot to put that assignment down on your calendar. Get connected with your classmates, because they will also remind you, hey, did you finish this? Because they're probably going to ask for help. You're going to ask for help. It's really good to help each other. Like, we're all in this together. Everybody wants to make it in the class. So get connected with your classmates. Keep yourself well organized. I would advise having each class, like maybe a notebook for each class, just to write it down. Keep everything nice and neat, because when it gets jumbled up, then you're like, I don't know what class this is for, what class that's for. And also to spread out your work. Rome wasn't built in a day. Your assignment doesn't have to be done in a day unless it's due that day, in one day. So if you have a week to do an assignment, it's okay to take that week to do the assignment, as long as you're getting it done, working on it every day, little by little, because most of us, some people can rush you an assignment, do it in one go and can be done, it's perfect, but others need to take the time. And the longer you take the time, the better your work will be. Go next. And then this last one, it's just time, well, not the last one, time management really starts with when you set a goal for yourself. If you don't have a goal for, maybe your goal could be get an A in this class for the semester, or make sure you turn everything on time. Have a goal set for yourself so that you can really achieve greatness. Establish a routine just so that you can have a steady pace. You wake up, you know what to do. There's no question of, oh, can I go out to the park today, or can I go shopping? Like, yes, I can, but I also have to do my homework first, or I go to class. Know what your stress relievers are. College is also very stressful. So know what helps you wind down and stress relief, whether that's watching your favorite TV show or getting ice cream. You need to know what can really help you in the long run. And don't forget to take breaks in between. Most people really do benefit from long bingers of homework and studying, but me personally, I cannot sit that long. I cannot sit longer than 5 hours to study. So I take breaks every hour if I need to do something for a couple hours. And breaks are definitely beneficial, especially since we're online. It's bad for your eyes to be staring at a computer screen for so long, getting carpal tunnel in your wrists if you are typing for a long time. So definitely take breaks and have water, please drink water, and snacks, healthy snacks for you, like pistachios, which is brain food, healthy chips, snacks for you available so that, you can keep yourself well hydrated and fed while you're working on your homework. And then one more slide, I think. Yeah, and then this is just schedule your classes in the best way that'll benefit you. Have a calendar, like what assignments do. I have a calendar personally. Each class is color coded. So green, I know it's one class and what's due that day and stuff like that. That works best for me. Find out what works best for you because we are all very different. And schedule your studying. It's a good idea because we are also learning a lot of information that'll help us in class and once we get out into our prospective jobs. So make sure you're studying. There, and then that's it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about your GPA. So GPA stands for grade point average, and it basically averages out your grades. Like if you, let's say you get an A, I think that's averages out to 4.0. If you get a B, I think that's a 3.0, and so on and so forth. And so this accumulates throughout all of your semesters, and it is calculated based off of your grades per class per semester. Post-college, your GPA will be very important depending on the path you decide to take. Like if you decide to go to grad school, schools are often going to look at your GPA to see how much money they can offer you. And even jobs, let's say somebody has like a 3.0 and another person has like a 3.5. Who do you think they're going to favor depending on whatever the job is? Again, it's not like this is the only factor that they're going to look at, but holistically, this would be like maybe what sets you apart from another person on an application. Next slide, please. Here are my tips on how to maintain or raise your GPA. A lot of these have been mentioned in previous slides, but the first one is to take notes during class and outside of class. And outside of class just means like if you're doing a reading and I don't know, but personally, I cannot retain just to read. I cannot retain information. So I have to take notes. So I'll take notes on what I'm reading and then learn study habits that work for you. Basically, like Sabrina and Diana said, if you can't study in the morning, if you can't study in the evening, like find a time that works best for you. If taking notes on a notebook doesn't work for you, but flashcards do, then do flashcards. And then don't cram. Like if you have an exam the night before and you're gonna plan on staying up studying all night, that's not gonna help you. That's just gonna make your brain really tired. And by the time you take the test, you really won't be able to do a whole lot. Attendance is really important because a lot of professors count it towards your grade. Sometimes if you don't do so well in a category, attendance can be like your cushion. My other thing is to get organized. Like if you can get an agenda, that'll be good because then you can write out your weekly deadlines. And then the most obvious one is probably turning in your assignments on time. And then asking your professors for help, also your classmates. If you are able to make a group chat with your classmates, do that. It's really important to keep the communication going when you're, especially online. And then use campus resources. As the campus is opening up this semester, there's a lot of resources available to you, like the library, the writing center, the math center, and so on. So to get started with achieving a high GPA, you would have to access, review, and understand the rubric of the assignment that's due. Read assignment instructions carefully and ask questions if you do not understand. And then understand the weight of each category of your grades in each course and do not miss any assignments. And if you are missing assignments, make sure to communicate that to your professor.
Okay, so I know we talked about ways to succeed in college, but you also need to take time for yourself and do some self-care. So for some physical activities that you can do, you can stretch, You can go for a walk, listen to music, and dance. I know I personally try to take breaks between my classes or when I'm doing any assignments. I'll, get up and like walk around, try to stretch, and then sit back down. Or like as I'm doing homework, for me, it helps me listen to music as I'm doing homework. As for mindset engagement, reading a book, I know some people, very much enjoy reading books as a pastime. And then also try, I don't know, turning off your phone for a day and like, trying to connect more with the world. I know that that has helped me out as well. Like, you just get to enjoy like what you're doing throughout that day. And also drawing and coloring is also very relaxing for some people. And then as for emotional development, meditating, like doing like the deep breaths also help people like calm down. If a test is coming up, you're like, you have to take those deep breaths to, help you remember some of the information sometimes. You can also, talk to a friend or a family member, sometimes catching up with, friends or like loved ones that also, helps you, or like you get to talk to them like about, what's going on with schools, like what's stressing. And then also journaling. So self-reflection or like just writing down your thoughts if that's something that you just, sometimes people take things to themselves and then they just like, you're able to write it down. And then let me see. And then so we also have the counseling and wellness center. So you can call 202-274-6000, and they are available from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The locations for the Van Ness campus is in Building 39, Suite 120, and they're available from 10 to 4:45. And at the community college, it's located at 101 North Capitol Street. It's the third floor, Suite 333. And so I would like to share like my experience with it. So I actually do use those services. Although since the pandemic has happened, they are offering virtual. So when you contact them, they'll ask you, oh, do you want to meet in person? Do you want to meet virtually, like through video chat, like right now? Or you can do a call in. And so I know mental health is very, stigmatized within the within the Latinx community. Like it's usually like not taught for us to, go out and talk to other people, like strangers, about what's going on. But some people, well, I find it very helpful because you get to see like a different perspective on how you can manage certain things that are coming up. And also you could also go and then talk about like personal growth, helping how you're able to like reach your full potential, or like how to, manage stress from classes and stuff like that. But yeah, but that's my take on it. And then let me see. So yeah, so to get started with self-care, find one enjoyable activity that will help you avoid stress this semester. So like I said, I like to talk to my friends and, listen to music. I also really enjoy dancing, so that's what gets the stress out of me. Yeah. And then Dr. Diaz.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. I forgot that I was supposed to speak as well. So I wanted to say that last semester, we wanted to start a peer mentoring program, and we were collecting information, and it looks like, people were interested in peer mentoring. So we just wanted to start it this year, since based on the survey, there's clear interest. So what I'll do is I will personally train the peer mentors. We have an application form for the peer mentors. And so if anyone is interested, you can basically open your camera on your phone and you can hover over the QR code on the screen, and it's gonna take you to the survey. And in the survey, which is collecting your information, Oh, could you put it back in? And then we'll collect your information so that, we can contact you to whether it be a peer mentor or a mentee. So it's just, to help each other out, but it's more culturally specific to the Latinx experience. So, so hopefully you can join in. And the link is also in the chat. So Sabrina could put the link again in the chat for the survey. And we want to start people connecting with people on Instagram. And we want to make sure people are also connecting with us on Remind, where we can share links to events, flyers, and so on. So if you want to be connected, make sure you do Remind. And we're working on our YouTube page. And if you know of anyone who didn't make it to the meeting, please give the links to them so we can follow up. So are there any questions about the mentoring program or about any of the presentations? I think I have a question. So can those of you who are current students, can you share like your personal experience as freshmen? Like what were your challenges as a freshman? And how did you find a way to resolve them?
I can share. Hi everybody again. My name is Jason Alberti. So my freshman year was difficult for me, a difficult transition from high school to college, academically and athletically. I play on the men's lacrosse team. I did feel, as soon as I stepped on campus, like I started to realize that, my path in high school had ended, and, I started getting away from my friends, and I started focusing on what I want and what I had going on. But it was times when I did feel lonely. It was times when I was like, I questioned it. Even with what I chose to major in, mechanical engineering, it's a pretty difficult thing. It's a lot of math, a lot of science. And, it's not something that I can just talk to anybody, be like, hey, do you understand how to do calculus? And, help me with that. So it was very difficult. But, again, I was able to find people that I could trust in and I can rely in, like, even if they don't necessarily understand every area of my life. There were people who could empower me and tell me, hey, you got this. It doesn't matter, what obstacles you face, it's just going to make you stronger. And that's what actually pushed me to join Latinx, was because I saw the community. And again, as minorities, as Latinx, it's important that, we build each other up, that we're able to stand with each other, unafraid of, what people may say or what actions may be taken against us. But I do know that who I was my freshman year and who I am now is very different mentality, very different action wise. And again, everything that, we've presented here, I have applied in some shape, way or form, and it has, developed me into a much better person. And I hope to outpour that onto others as well. So yeah.
Well, I can share next. So, so my first semester, which was back in fall of 2018, it was kind of difficult for me because I was away from my parents. I mean, even though it's like just a 2-hour drive, just getting settled into a new area, and then, and entering college. And then I'm also an athlete. I'm on the women's lacrosse team. And so dealing with my time management and having to commute and, also not seeing family every day, it was kind of difficult. But I'm not gonna lie, there was a point where I was like, maybe this isn't for me. I don't belong here. That imposter syndrome kicked in. But everything that I've shared today, I've, also applied to my life, and look at me, I'm gonna graduate next semester. Yeah. Anyone else gonna share?
I still remember, I was so lost. I didn't know how to even get a phone number. I didn't know how to find a phone. I didn't have any credit. So it is really important. I didn't know how to open a bank account. So it's very important to have support system that can guide you. Like, how do you take the metro? Like, how do you even, use that? So those basic things can add a lot of stress, and you want to focus on your academics. So it's good to have somebody basically guiding you with some basic stuff, even like pronouncing things, like I didn't know how to pronounce salmon for years. Somebody told me. But yeah, so I think that it's good to find a support system. So we're here to support new students. So hopefully, we can recruit some more members so that you can help the next group. So who else wants to share? Kelly, Sabrina, Gerson, Raul.
I'll share. So my first semester of my freshman year, I started school like 3 weeks late because I was recovering from a knee surgery, and I was struggling really bad. At the time, I didn't really know how to communicate with my professors. I was really shy, so I felt like, I didn't have that right to communicate with my professors, which is wrong because they're there to help you. But I ended up having to get over that forcibly because it was that or I would fail my classes, which I didn't want to do. And so I learned very valuable communication skills. And ever since, I've trying to keep that up.
I mean, I would share, but I didn't have any struggles. Luckily for me, I'm very adaptable. So as soon as I got here, I jumped right into it. And I'm from Georgia, so my parents are 10 hours away. But I guess I just didn't care, and I just, I went full force into what I came here to do. So.
Anyone else would like to share?
I can share, but what was the question? Because I was doing some work as well.
We were talking about, like, if you remember when you were a freshman, what were the challenges and how did you resolve them?
Oh, okay, yeah. So English is not my first language. I started to learn English when I was 25. So when I started in college, I didn't know how to use Blackboard. So for me, it was a challenge to do that. Also had to register for classes. When I went to the student service, yes, at UDC, they didn't help me. I did 3 appointments with them, with my advisor, and he didn't help me to register for my classes. So at the end, I had to call my mentor who helped me to register for my classes. Then also I was full-time. I was working a full-time, and also it was my first semester taking 4 classes at the beginning. So it was crazy. But with my mentor helped me a lot, and also friends and family who was around me, and I overcome with that proudly.
Well, I don't know if but there's last chance. Does anyone else want to say something?
Well, I want to share mine. Like Osman, I think Osman, what is his name? Like Osman saying, no, English is not my first language. Spanish is my first language. And I'm sorry I don't have the camera on because I'm on my way to work. But yeah, I want to share my experience. This is my sophomore year at UDC, and I started like everything virtually. I never like had time to meet, the university. until the day of now, I had never been in the university like in person, only virtually. Everything, the books and everything. So until the day of now, I don't know how it's the university. I only saw pictures and yeah, how the library is, but I never met like in person. But yeah, it was kind of difficult. Like everything was new to me, like the system of Blackboard, the classes, and I didn't know how to register for my classes too. I just choose like randomly classes, and my schedule was like very crazy. I had classes. I remember I had classes 9 to 11:30 p.m. For me, it was like, what? What's wrong? Like, but yeah, it was like I was very confused. I was scared, and until the day of now, I know I'm not stop learning. I always learning something new in every class. But yeah, the thing that helped me a lot is that I start asking questions, to my professor, and that's where I met Dr. Ada Villaluz. So she helped me a lot with how to do MLA style, how to write, and I didn't know like anything, like nothing. But now, thanks God, I made new people, and if I have any question, I ask for help. That's a big thing that I think we all should know. Like, if you need anything or you have like a crazy question, just ask like one of your classmates, your professor. They will help you a lot. So I think my experience was very crazy, and I had to go to UDC and start knowing new people. Yeah, thank you.
So Raul, I have a question. So now that the semester is sort of like back on in person somehow, do you feel a sense of community, or do you think the Latinx Association should do something to create community, do something in person, like we can do a hike? I was actually contacted by the Audubon Society because they have something called Naturally Latinos. And so they were asking if we wanted to do something with them, like a nature hike, because their focus is on getting Latinos back connected with nature. So that's something we could do in person because it's outdoors and it's safe. So what do you think, Raul?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because I have friends that they don't know like nothing like the system, nothing like. So I think that's a good idea. Like if the Latinx can do like a meetings for freshmen or new students, and yeah, I mean that's a great plan. We can do it like for new students joining at UDC.
So I guess my last question, and then Diana, you can decide if you want to end the meeting, will be like, what type of activities or events would you like to see? Because as the advisor, I'm here to help out, facilitate, brainstorm. So what type of events would you like to do this semester?
You asking me personally or like in general?
So I'm asking everyone, and somebody just joined us. So hi, we're having the asking a question about what type of activities or events would you like to see at UDC organized by the Latinx Student Association? So what type of events, activities should we do? But this is a question for everyone, including the Latinx Student Association board. So what activities, events would you be interested? So we said that we want to do maybe a hike, right? I'm going to contact that organization then.
I believe that we can do a community like we can for example November, which is Thanksgiving is coming, so we can plan to do something like to go to, like, for example, Capital Area Food Bank, or we can also, I don't know, but I believe that there is a lot of businesses like restaurants, like they can help us, like providing food for like the homeless people, and we can go downtown DC, or there is a lot of places in DC that we can go and feed the homeless, and we can do something like that.
I have a question actually about that, because I noticed there's a lot of people, a lot of homeless in Columbia Heights, 14th and Irving. And the other day I was going to Giant, and it was like a huge group of people, and somebody asked me for food and water. So I don't know if there are any organizations, because I've seen organizations in DC that they go and bring food at the park. Some parks in DC, I've seen that. But I don't know if there's anything done in Columbia Heights. I saw the church, I forget the name, is it Sacred Heart? I saw that they had a table with food. So I don't know, maybe we want to collaborate with Sacred Heart or something, but that's a good idea about supporting the homeless community. And maybe they're
Yeah.
not homeless, but they need food, like food pantries. Some people created their own food pantries in the city during the pandemic.
Yeah, so I went to on 2019 for Thanksgiving. I went to volunteer with this nonprofit in a local DC restaurant, El Tamarindo. They donate the food. This nonprofit asked for the donations, and they gave the food to the nonprofit, and then we went to give the food away. So I don't know if we can do, like, we can ask restaurants like that they can support us, and then with the food, and then we can go and donate this food to the homeless.
Yeah, I really like those ideas because I don't think we've done any like community service like that yet. So, well, we are doing community service fundraise to donate for, what's the school called? Lamb.
Yeah, so we are focusing on Latinx writers, Latinx children's books, so authored by Latinx authors, and to provide a mirror, right, to Latinx students who may not necessarily have children's books that are representative of their cultures or have children who look like them. Especially if you think about a lot of bilingual schools in DC, sometimes the Latinx students are a minority in some bilingual schools in DC. So we were doing the fundraising for that particular school because we have a connection with the school. So we were gonna do Día del Libro, which also is the same as Día del Niño. I forget the date right now, but we were doing a fundraiser last year and we couldn't finalize it. So we're gonna do it again this year. So we're gonna start fundraising. We actually have $600 in the fundraiser. So we just need a little bit more because the school had requested $1,000 in books. And so the idea was to raise funds, and then we contact the organization, which is, I'm forgetting the name, First Book. And we wanted to specify that the books had to be bilingual and mostly written by Latinx writers. And then we're gonna go in person and put the books on a table and the children pick the book they want, right? So they have the choice to pick, but it's gonna include the entire school population. So, but that's the idea. So, and we were doing it like that last year because everything was virtual. So we wanted to do a fundraising that was virtual, everything virtual except the distribution of books, which didn't happen because we didn't get enough books. So what we want to do is to keep raising funds and then plan for that date that we're gonna be like putting the books on display so the children can safely pick one up.
All right, well, I think we can wrap up now. Thank you everyone for attending, and just be on the lookout for a general body meeting that we plan to have next month. And also please make sure to follow our social media. That's where we will be posting flyers for events that we will have. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good weekend and stay safe, you know, sanitize and wear your masks.